Thank you for watching and listening. I would like to share a story about my second sister and how I found out that her husband and his family are also practicing Javanese cult, and I suspected that they actually know this stepmother. That are actually all I suspected that they're all in the same cult. Reason being, when my second sister had a miscarriage, okay, uh, the stepmother randomly told me that in Malay, she said, kalau kau nak tahu Farah hilang anak dia sebab suami dia. Basically, if you want to know, Farah, my sister's name, lost her child because of her husband. And of course, my response was, if you know, why didn't you help? That is your flesh and blood. That is your daughter. You should help. If you know that the family is not good, if you know the husband is like problematic, he's your stereotypical spoiled brat, a loser man type of thing. Uh, I never understood why she married him. I thought she didn't want to marry him in the first place. They broke it off before that. And I found out from the medium the reason why she married him was because he had done a ritual, a Javanese ritual on her to make her obey and be submissive to him and his family. And I remember some couple of times the stepmother would say, Farah macam babu kat dalam rumah dia. Something about she's like a slave, like a servant to the her in-laws. And again, my response was, if you know, why don't you help? Because every time I try to talk to my second sister about anything, especially if it's related to her husband, she will get very agitated and angry and like want to defend him, even though I recall specifically she never wanted to marry him. They actually broke up, and the guy actually crashed the car, purposely crashed the car, and got hospitalized. And then his friends started blaming her and all that. And I think basically gaslighting. This is what the toxic people do. This is what all the cult members do. They always gaslight. Even the friends, the so-called friends I had in secondary school who turned out to be children of the cult were also like that. They gaslight you. Every situation it is, they twist and turn, twist and turn, twist and turn to make you feel bad, to make you look bad, to make you just do what they want by all the gaslighting thing, by making you confused. So come to find out from the medium that my second sister's miscarriage was actually due to the rituals that her husband and his family did. And they did that as an offering to the demonic entity, as a human sacrifice thing. And the stepmother knew. And it explained his behavior. He was like pretending, oh, look at me, I have to pray out. He would intentionally pray right in front of you. And I was thought it was odd, but yeah, I just leave it be. Then I was just acting. They needed to show me that they are Muslims, but they're not. They were all totally doing different things behind our backs. It's all an act. And I remember clearly when we went to the hospital, because the baby died in the womb. So she had to give birth naturally, like she normally would a living child. So while waiting for when you're filling up the form and all that, her in-laws, her father-in-law looked at me like that. Every single one of them, everyone from the so-called friends, acquaintances, whatever, who turned out to be part of the cult, every single one of them give me this look. Every single one of them. Come to think of it. And I remember my stepmother was telling, you go and talk to her in-laws, or go and talk to the mother-in-law. So I was talking to her, and then the mother-in-law was like, just ask some random small some random questions, and then after I answered, she started throwing it. You can go lah. You need to see. You can go like that. It's like as though like you're so disgusted. She's so disgusted with you, things like that. And in hindsight, now I know why. It's because they can't stand who I truly am. Because they know that at some point that they are guilty. They know they are at fault, and my presence in itself, they try to make you feel bad, like you're problematic, even though you're just seated beside them and you just try to talk to them like you normal, we're having a small conversation. and the behavior was like that. It makes sense now. So apparently, it was part of the ritual they do, and it reminded me of the time when I was growing up, especially when I was in primary school. The stepmother was very abusive to me. In specific, she would lie, she would scream and shout at school, and then she would tell the teachers all kind of lies, and the teachers in turn would bully us, and the classmate also bully us in turn. And uh, and then she often would say, yeah, I'm a 6 months preemie, that I was brought back into Singapore from in a box, that my father was the one who brought me back when I was 6 months old, that I'm just a 6 months old baby, and things like that. She kept harping and harping. She can't let go of this 6 month old baby thing. And it makes sense now. After consulting the medium, it was because uh, I wasn't her biological child, and the 6 months thing is because I was supposed to be sacrificed, just like how my second sister's first child was sacrificed. I am not too sure whether it's a thing that they do, it's like how this cult operates. So everything makes sense now, because I remember I accompanied her to somebody's wedding, and the in-laws were there. My second sister in-laws were there, and they sat beside one another. And then the stepmother would say, no lah, I checked with my family in Malaysia. It's impossible. We don't have saka. Saka is like some kind of entity that they are generational, that's been kept for many generations, and passed down through many generations. And then the mother-in-law would be like, at that point, I thought, oh my gosh, she's embarrassing us. If she behaved this way, they will it'd be much more harder for my second sister, because she's living with them at that point. But in hindsight, her reaction was because both of them were part of it. Both of them were aware of the whole thing. Both of them were practicing Javanese voodoo. So they were like basically trying to call each other out. So the brother-in-law was the one who said, "Oh, your stepmother has sucker lah. Your family has kept all these kind of like entities and things like that." So what happened is they were causing confusion to us. They were blaming the stepmother, and the stepmother was blaming her, were blaming them. It was back and forth, and to come to find out, they both were guilty. Were both practicing it. And the funny part was, before many years before, maybe about 5 years before this or something like that, or less than that, I'm not too sure. This brother-in-law, before we found out about the mother-in-law, what sorry, before we found out about the stepmother, he was the one who brought us to a healer, a Muslim healer, in the east area. And he was going on, so it's hilarious, isn't it? He brought us there to get help because of the stepmother. He said, "Oh, because your family practice this, or your family keeps a lot of like entities, blah 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 blah, things like that." And it takes many years after that to find out that he was one of them. Okay,